Devil Warrior. In this video I'm going to be showing my Game of Thrones figure collection. So these 7 figures are figures from my first video, which is figure collection 1. And I showed all these figures in detail and I showed their boxes, you know, what it said on the back of them, etc. This video is essentially an update. It's figure collection 2 and it's going to be showing the next 7 figures within my collection. That includes Jon Snow, Arya and Tyrion, who I didn't show in my first video because I didn't have them at the time, so I had them in statue form. I didn't want to get them in figure form, but now I actually got them in figure form, so I'll be showing them as well. In addition to that, I'll be showing Tywin, Joffrey, Littlefinger and Hodor and Bran together, along with their boxes. But again, for people that may not have watched my first video, I'll be showing these figures briefly, just so people get an idea of what these figures look like as well. And at the end, I'll be showing all of them together as a whole, so you can kind of get an idea of the whole collection. So, again, before I move on to the new figures, I'll be showing the ones that I showed in my first video, just so people that may have missed that get to see my whole collection and don't miss out on anything. So here's Ned Stark. Here's the front view of him. He's got ice, just standing still. This sword actually has to be attached. It's pretty difficult to attach, but you have to get that under him. Just under these hands here, and it kind of clips in. And here's the back of him here. You see the back of his hair, and again his cloak. Now here's Robb Stark. So he's got his sword. Again, you have to attach the sword here, but this one it's kind of a bit more. You have to stick the whole sword in, as opposed to just sticking the bottom of the sword like Ned Stark's ice. As key, these figures have a crazy amount of detail. You also have Legacies figures that I've mentioned before in previous My Game of Thrones videos, but people don't know about them. They are also another company that make figures similar to this, but those ones actually move around. Like these ones have, you know, it's been said to me before that these are more like statues than figures because these ones don't actually move. But Dark Horse calls them figures, and they call the other ones, the more expensive ones, statues. So that's why I've called it figure collection. And these ones do have a crazy amount of detail. I think these ones are more detailed than the Legacy Connection, in my personal opinion, which is why I went with these ones. I kind of like the idea that they, you know, it'd be cool, I guess, if they did move, but at the same time, it's nice that they are, you know, I'd rather have them extremely detailed and not moving kind of thing, just to kind of showcase them. Here's the White Walker. This guy is huge. As you may have noticed, these are all pretty scaled. These are all scaled accurately, with the exception of the White Walker, who's just huge, but I think that's how he's supposed to be. I think he's supposed to be just generally, you know, a giant. In a second, when I put him next to Khal Drogo, you'll see how tall he is. And this guy is really detailed as well, you know, he's got, you can see his eyes here. One thing I have noticed about him is he's really, really skinny. His arms are really skinny, but I guess that's how they're supposed to be. And you actually have a third figure collection. There's actually a third figure collection coming out, and that's from Eagle Moss. And Eagle Moss are going to be making, hopefully, loads of figures. They made a Lord of the Rings collection, and that had 180 Lord of the Rings figures that Eagle Moss made. So hopefully they do the same with Game of Thrones, and I'll probably end up picking up their collection at some point. So you can see, here's Khal Drogo, and if I just put him next to the White Walker, they all scale really nicely. He's about just as tall. He's not fully stand up straight, neither is the White Walker. I guess he's just walking along, but he's pretty much fully stand up straight. So they have scaled it really nice. Khal Drogo is massive in this, especially if you see him next to, say, Robb Stark, like this. You can just tell that Khal Drogo is a huge guy. And when I show you the new figures soon, you'll just see how small the new figures are in comparison. But yeah, Khal Drogo is one of my favourite figures, just purely for detail. I feel like he's one of the best figures for detail out of the entire collection. It's just really captured, especially what I think, what he looks like in the show. I turn him around. He's one of the few figures that you can actually move, kind of like just, you can only move one accessory, and that's kind of like his hair. His hair can kind of move about. And these daggers, this one I believe was already in. This one had to fit in. This weapon here, this kind of like sickle looking weapon. I'm sure it has a specific name, but I actually don't know it. Okay, so that's Khal Drogo. Here's Daenerys Targaryen, and she's got dragon eggs. She's another figure you can actually kind of customize in a way. You can take these dragon eggs out and refit them in her hand, whatever egg you want to have, the green one, the red one, or the you know, and on you know, this particular figure, it's actually grey, but it's Viserion's egg. So that's pretty cool that you have that option. If you turn Daenerys around, she looks like, if I turn Daenerys around, it looks like this. So this is actually, you can see it's movable. You can open and close this. I just leave it open. And the reason I've got the green egg out of all the other eggs is because that's the one that, on her box cover, that's the egg she was holding. So that's the back of her. You can see the detail on her hair is pretty crazy. If I put her next to the Khal right now, you'll see how small she is. So they've definitely scaled him. Dany's supposed to be really small. You know, Daenerys, and she is really small here. Here's Jaime and Cersei. Both of these added a lot of colour to my collection, which I like. What I like, as you can see, these characters all have pretty similar colours, and these two add a lot of colour. You know, you've got Jaime in his golden armour, Kingsguard armour, and you've got Cersei wearing this kind of like red dress. And Jaime definitely is another one of my favourites after Khal Drogo, because Jaime and Khal Drogo both have a crazy amount of detail, especially Jaime. You can see all the little detail he's got on his armour here, and it just really is pretty insane. And see him here. His sword sheath is here, and his sword's actually, you have to actually fit that in his hand. So just the top of it, you have to kind of like push in, just like the bottom of Ned Stark's. You have to push in the top part of the sword. And here's Cersei. So again, I've mentioned already, I'm just showing these figures without the boxes, but more briefly, because I've showed them in my previous video. So I will, you know, leave in the comment section somewhere or in the description of my video for people that have already watched my first video. If you don't want to see the same figures again, skip to a certain point in the video, probably like 7 minutes in, to see the new figures that I haven't shown before. And here's the back of Cersei. She's got her hair. Turn her around. She's got quite a high base, which actually seems quite tall. If you look at her base in comparison to other people's, her base is much higher up, which I quite like actually. But yeah, I'm going to put all these over here now, back over here, so I've got room to show the new figures in their boxes when I show them in a second. And at the end of the video, again, I'll show all the figures as a whole, and I'll kind of put the Starks to the Starks, Lannisters to the Lannisters, etc. And maybe briefly explain the new figures, even more figures that are coming out later in the year. So here is Jon Snow. And his box here. So as you can see, this is Jon Snow's box. Basically says Jon Snow on the front. On the side it's got a picture of Jon Snow, and on the back, if you want to have a little read of this here, it's just got kind of like the Night's Watch. No, it hasn't got the Night's Watch powers, rather. It's just got a little description of Jon Snow. I'm thinking about the statue. Okay, and again, it's got a little picture of Jon Snow there. So that's Jon Snow's box. And on the bottom it's just nothing, so I won't show the bottom for the other figures since this is pretty much a barcode. So here's Jon Snow, someone I didn't show last time. Again, he's not new, I just didn't have him last time because I had the statue. But yeah, he's got really nice detail on him. To be honest, out of all the faces, I feel like he's got one of the weaker faces as far as resemblance goes to how he looks in the show. You know, it's a nicely detailed figure apart from that, but Jon Snow is my favourite character, and I have to say, out of the figures, he's one of my least favourite figures, just as far as appearance goes. But the statue of him is just insane. If you haven't seen it, it's pretty crazy. It's the back of him here. Turn him around. As far as Jon Snow goes, I think if anything, I just fit at the top of the sword. I can't remember fitting anything else on Jon Snow. Another thing to note, I'm not sure if it's just everyone's bases. The base is kind of like blue and white. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be blue. Might just be a bit of an error with mine. I have no clue why, but it is blue and white snow for the base of the statue. And as you can see here, I'm going to try and show the little ghost on the bottom of his sword. Okay, it's not really, it's pretty small. So yeah, that's Jon Snow. Next is Arya Stark. So I'm going to move Jon Snow over here now and get Arya Stark up. And again, at the end, I'll show them all together. So it's really cool because you can actually see this. I love how they've scaled them accurately. I so much prefer that. Because otherwise, you know, some companies might not just scale them all accurately, but I feel like these are really scaled nice. And here's Arya. She's pretty small. Again, if you quickly show her next to Khal Drogo, you can probably just tell how small she is. Around the height of Daenerys, really, but I guess she's still, you know, still young. I'm not sure if she'll ever grow. And here's the deal on her. Out of the faces, she has one of the favourite faces for the figures for me. I feel like her face really resembles what she looks like in the show. I really think this figure has a lot of good detail as well, especially on what she's wearing. And you've got her little sword needle here. And as you might be able to see, Her case, the inside of it, is red, but I'll go on to that in a second. It's the back of her. But her case is red. I guess that, you know, kind of resembles the Red Wedding, just like Robb Stark's. She's the only other one with a red case inside because she was present at the Red Wedding. If you don't know what that is, I'm not going to spoil it for you. On the side, here's Arya again, and on the back there's a little description of Arya if you want to have a read of that, and a picture of what she looks like kind of inside the box. And again, another picture. So, that's Arya Stark. I'm going to move her now over here next to the Starks. Oops, okay. And then we've got Tyrion, who's even smaller, only by a little bit though, to be honest. And here's Tyrion. So, here he's kind of just, you know, looking at a map. If you want to kind of see what this is, it's pretty much, I think it's the map of King's Land, maybe when he's planning, you know, it's just, I don't think anything, not really, I think it's supposed to resemble King's Land at some point, I guess, to some extent, but if you look at it, that's pretty much what it is. It's kind of cool that he's holding a little map there. But I wouldn't have minded if he was just kind of placing things by his side. If you notice here as well, like put a ring on his finger. Try and get this focused. So that's a nice little touch. And you see he's got a little dagger by his side. Just really need to get this in focus right now, it's not focusing. Okay, there we go. And here he goes to the back of him. So Tyrion Lannister, it'd be kind of cool if he got also, because you also got the Battle of the Blackwater statue of him, which is kind of cool because you see Tyrion in like full on armor, and that looks really nice. But it's also nice to have a figure without all the armor on, just showing kind of like Tyrion in his normal clothes. Hopefully they'll make one later on when he's kind of got even longer kind of. I guess in the show he looks like right now he's kind of got even longer hair and he's got his kind of beard and stuff. And, you know, especially in season 5, I feel like appearance on Tyrion looks really cool. Okay, let me put Tyrion over here by the Lannisters. At the end I'll organise it all nicely, but put him over there for now. And oh, Tyrion's box, which is here. Just, you know, Tyrion came out of here. At the bottom it says Tyrion Lannister. On the side it's got this picture of him. And on the back it's got this description of Tyrion Lannister here. If you want to go have a read of that, go ahead. And on the other side, just another picture of him. Okay, so now moving on to the actual new figures, ones I'm not showed yet, or ones, the newest ones in general. These 4 came out around, I guess, April, May, you know, around kind of June, July time. But Hodor and Bran was 2 months late to me. That's the reason I've had to leave this video for so long, because of that, which is kind of annoying. I wanted to show this figure collection much earlier, but because of Hodor and Bran didn't arrive, I actually ended up cancelling the order a few days ago, and ordered it again, and it arrived like the day after, which is really cool. So now, now I've been actually able to make this video. So anyway, moving on. Stop boring you with that. Here's Tywin, and something I thought I'd just pick up on is it's Tywin at King's Landing with the King's Hand badge on him, which is pretty cool. And he's got pretty cool detail on his character as a whole. If you just, one thing to note on his head, give him that nice ball patch on the back. And here's the front of him. So I quite like. A Pop Funko of him actually has him in armour, and I think that was a really good idea of a Pop Funko when they put him in armour. I think Tywin in armour for the Battle of Blackwater would have been a really nice looking figure. Again, they've made this figure without, you know, just kind of like more casual Tywin walking around. And at the same time, it's kind of nice to have Tywin like this because, as you can see with a lot of figures, a lot of them are kind of like, you know, not casual, more like aggressive. You know, like when, you know, Khal Drogo's got his blades out, when Robb Stark's kind of got, you know, everyone's kind of got their weapons out. So it is nice for a change with some characters in the figure collection not to have their weapons out and just kind of have more of a normal stance of when they're kind of walking around and not fighting. So again, the back on Tywin is not really much to show. This is kind of his outfit again. His shoes down here. But again, I really like having Tywin in the collection. You've pretty much the Lannister family is pretty much complete here. With you've got 4 Lannisters here, and also you've got Joffrey Baratheon. But you know, we all know that story. You know, he's technically their child. So you know, I mean, he's technically a Lannister. But so you know, it's nice to have all the Lannisters. You know, you've got the father, the son, and you know, the 2 sons and a daughter, which is really cool. Maybe at some point they'll release, you know, Marcella and Tommen as figures. That way you literally do have the entire Lannister family, which would be pretty cool to have. But for now, we've just got these Lannisters. But it's really cool to have them in the collection because the Stark family is pretty much nearly already, it's nearly complete now. And on top of that, the Lannister family is nearly fully complete, or it is fully complete if you consider Cersei's children as Baratheons or bastards. It depends how you look at it, I guess. But obviously, we know kind of that they're bastards. But anyway, here's Littlefinger. And what's interesting about him is Sansa Stark's actually going to come out as well later in the year, and she's going to be wearing like the Mockingbird outfit, which is kind of cool. So I'm not sure I'm going to kind of put her with, whether I put her with the Starks or whether I put her with Littlefinger, because she's got her new outfit on now, and she'll have her dyed hair as well in the figure. But here we go, here's Littlefinger, and he's quite a cool figure to have. I quite like Littlefinger, and you've got his little kind of like sigil here of the Mockingbird, and he's just kind of standing, looking very devious, as Littlefinger should. There you go, here's the back. Back's pretty detailed, I quite like it. The outfit he's wearing, it generally looks like it's pretty much, it's all kind of like flowers embroidered onto it. And Littlefinger is a pretty small guy, it's kind of in the name. But if I put him next to Khal Drogo like you see now, he is pretty tiny. But I'm going to move over there again just so I can kind of show the last two figures. So, Joffrey Baratheon. Oh, also, Littlefinger's box, Peter Littlefinger Baelish. On the side, it's got a picture of him here. On the back, it's got this big description. And again, another picture of him there. Moving on, there is Joffrey Baratheon here. And his box here, I'll just show his box first. It's got Joffrey Baratheon here, Dark Horse Deluxe. A picture of him like this. And on the back, if you want to have a read of that again, it just says this. So, okay, put that down now, and I'm gonna show you Joffrey. So, it's got Joffrey at the purple wedding, which is pretty cool. He's got, you can see here, he's holding his wine cup, standing up, kind of looking down, looking like a bit of a prick as always. He's got his crown on. I do really like that they've put him in this outfit out of all his outfits. It's a really cool, iconic moment in Game of Thrones to have, for the Joffrey figure. And it's all gold, which is pretty cool. It's going to look quite cool next to Jaime, having two people just all in gold now. And I'm going to leave him over there and get the final figure, which is actually the one, as I said, just arrived. But it's probably, one of my top three favourites, Khal Drogo and Jaime Lannister, because it is just massive, and it's two figures in one, which is really cool. Like in general, you can see right now the height of Hodor towers over kind of everyone else. Khal Drogo is pretty similar in size to him actually. I think Khal Drogo will stand up straight. He might even be taller than the Hodor. I'm not sure if it's supposed to be like that. I haven't read the, books in detail enough to know the specific heights of them. I'm sure they're out there, and people watching this will be like, okay, that's not scaled correctly. But in general, Hodor still is, one of the tallest figures here. Just only the White Walker and Khal Drogo really come close. But one sec, let me just quickly as well show his box, which is a huge box because it had to fit both of them in. Hodor and Bran. Got a picture of both of them here, which is really cool. And on the back, it's got a little description of them here if you want to read that. So this description is actually after, the sack of Winterfell kind of thing. So some of the descriptions are a bit more towards descriptions on the back of the boxes. Some are from season 1, some are from season 2, 3, 4. It all kind of varies really. But here we go. Here's Hodor and Bran. And I really, really love the detail. This figure definitely has to be one of the most detailed. Hodor looks pretty angry in this figure, which I kind of like. If we turn it around, you see just Bran on the back. Something to pick up on straight away is the fact that when I show Bran's face here, his eyebrows actually smudged to me. I don't have a fucking clue why. It's annoyed me a little bit, but I'm just leaving it. But I'm pretty sure that's not supposed to be like that. I'm pretty sure he's not quite like his eyebrow trimmed in Game of Thrones. But anyway, here's his face. And he's pretty tall, as you can kind of see anyway. Like, Bran is a pretty tall guy. Obviously, he's still growing in real life, so they can't really stop him from doing that in the show. the back of it. If I show you the other side, you can kind of see where he's kind of like strapped in and stuff. So yeah, pretty fucking cool figure. I really like this figure, just because there's two figures in one, and I just really like the detail, and I really like Bran and Hodor in general. So it's really cool to have them to add to the Stark family. But yeah, okay, right now I'm just going to get all my figures and organise them where I think they're appropriate, and I'm going to kind of zoom out and show all the figures at once. And yeah, so just give me a second for that, and I'll just do that now. So I'll just get all the Starks together. And this figure is really heavy, which I really like. It's quite a sturdy figure, which is pretty cool to have. And something I thought I'd mention now is the 4 new figures coming out are going to be, there's going to be another Daenerys coming out, so there's actually going to be 2 Daenerys. The second Daenerys will be Daenerys with Drogon though, so that's going to be a really nice one. That's actually an £80 figure as opposed to these £20 figures, with the exception of Hodor, which is £40. So that's going to be a huge figure, which is going to be quite nice to add to the figure collection. Having a second Daenerys as well, I guess will be fun. So let's get Johnson over here. The other figure coming out will be Sansa Stark, as I've said already, and there will also be the Hound, which will be quite nice because I might end up putting Arya of the Hound, since she's kind of in her outfits, you know, from when she was kind of hanging out with the Hound. And also the last one's going to be Jorah Mormont, so he'll be cool because I can, you know, put it next to Daenerys and Khal Drogo, and I like Jorah Mormont as a character. Hopefully at one point they release Dario Naharis and Grey Worm and some characters like that. Also to add, maybe even Sabaris the Selmy to add to the figure collection as well. Hopefully they release them at some point. So here we go. Here's all the starts together, and let me just put Khal Drogo and Daenerys together. As far as statues go, there's going to be 1 new statue coming out, and that is the statue of Braavos. So Titan of Braavos is going to be coming out, which is pretty awesome, and he's going to be in, like a £180 statue. And actually Daenerys and Drogon, which is quite interesting, was supposed to be the statue that was coming out, but they must have cancelled it or something along those lines because it isn't coming out anymore, and it was they've changed it into a figure essentially, which is kind of interesting. Maybe not people ordered it or something, or maybe it's still coming out, but I did pick up on that, which was kind of crazy. Okay, here we go. So, sorry for that wait, that probably took like 2 minutes, but I just wanted to get them all nicely together. So here we go, here's the Game of Thrones figure collection so far, and you know, the other 4 are coming out in 2 months' time, so that's going to mean there's going to be 19 figures instead of these. Oh, sorry, no, there'll be 18 figures instead of these 14 figures that there are currently. So the collection's going to go up even more. And you know, right now the collection looks pretty formidable. I really like all the characters here. Really nice detail. I love the Dark Horse collection in general. Here we go, Robb Stark's got to get included as well. And yeah, here's my Game of Thrones figure collection video. It's really fucking long. It's 24 minutes. Hopefully no one's annoyed about that, you know, the fact that it's went on forever. But again, I just really want to get all the figures shown in detail, and I'll probably go on talking a bit too much. But again, thanks for watching this video, people. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and see ya.